Hey guys, this is DFD, aka Dark Frozen Depths, and can't call this pre-battle because the raid event's already started. But anyways, this is our next event right now, which is the Demon Gluttony, and this one, a little bit of what I've seen could also be a little bit troublesome, but we'll get to that later. But as I said in the previous video like this is a really help players get a little bit more prepared for the event. Unfortunately, there isn't no prep time beforehand. You can do it while you're still playing it, especially since this is a very good one to try and grind. Union events are always really good, and you'll see why later. But anyways, starting off with this, of course, you get a Pride weapon. You get the SSR Dolan, which is a Willem, and then there's like other stuff you can probably get too. Now, according to this list, it's saying that there's two SSR weapons. I don't know if that's the case for us. Like, that might be different, because this has gotten repeated in the Japanese one. Double check your reward list and see, because I'm not sure. But here's the thing with this one. All union events, you work with your union to try and get it. Willem fights are not union limited, so this is another case like where it's the last raid event we just had. Energy seeds and energy leaves are going to take priority. If you start a Willem fight, you do get one extra grail, but honestly, I don't see too much reason to actually do that when, like, unless there's no Willem fights up there. Like, if there's any Willem fights that are there, especially the level 50 ones, by all means use your BP to jump in instead of your AP. But if there isn't any, that's when you try to use your AP. But here's the thing, and this gives you a better little breakdown of what the buffs do. Now, the grails that you get from the Willem fights, here's what you really want to try and focus on. Definitely attack power, definitely burst damage, definitely HP. You might want to try and send a little bit to recovery and a little bit to 3-stage attack probability, which is triple. So those are really good. But here's some extra stuff that's broken down from this if this info's right. As I thought, the attack power goes up by 1% every level. So max it out, double attack power. You definitely want that. And it also adds on top of any other buffs you might get and whatnot. Like, that's the biggest thing about all these. Burst damage. It isn't a 1% increase, it's a 1.5. So you max it out, you get pretty much 1.5. I mean, you pretty much get 2.5 times the burst damage right out the gate. If there's anything else bumping it up, that's even further. So that's better than I thought. I don't know the full thing on the attack increases, but if I'm correct, those are about 1% increases as well. So say like there's normally a 10% chance of a double attack, well, it becomes 20% chance at that. It's like it's the already set probability times however you bump it up, but only focus on 3-stage. You want triple more than anything else. So if you're going to buff anything, focus on the 3-stage. HP, definitely top priority. You want to survive longer. That's in the same case as attack power, 1% for every increase. So you get double HP at 100. So HP and attack power is definitely get them right out the bat because it'll up your output and it'll make you survive longer. However, this kind of goes in hand with HP a little bit. The recovery increases. That's not 1% as well. It's 1.5. So you got 2.5 times the recovery. So say somebody heals for 1,000 HP. Well, get that to 100, they're suddenly healing for 2,500. So this breaks out your healers a little bit more, but don't go full hard into it because you definitely want other stuff to bump you up. Now, the abnormal success rate. If I'm reading this correctly, the success rate up increase means that if you get some stuff that help increase your chances, like Mordred or something, then all you need is level 26 and you're almost guaranteed. Excluding anybody that's got like some really high level resistance, like the wind type enemies. They always tend to have high resistances. And then the other one says improve your tolerance against status effects, so yeah. But honestly, the buff setup, max out attack power, max out HP, that's definite. I'd say also at least get 50% in burst damage. But my union tends to max it out entirely. But my typical strategy for this, usually with our union, how we set it up: max HP, max attack, max burst, 50 to triple, and 50 to recovery. So that gives you a 75% increase in recovery. That should give you, like, I think the chance of getting triple attack is either 1 or 2%. That should up and up it up a little bit further. I don't know the full details on that one, but it does make a noticeable difference. Then on top of that, there's especially if you got Mordred and a lot of debuffs. For some reason, she gets the party sitting up hitting a lot of times. But that's what you really want to go for. Keep in mind, you can only get up to 400 as per usual. Unless you're new, you should know this already. Now, here's the deal with all the enemy data. If you're doing the standard Willem, she's got 700,000 HP. And this is the only fight for this event that it gives you 3 charge turns normally before she whips out her burst. So, yeah. She just hits you hard with the normal one. If she gets a raging, she's going to hit you a lot. And it will reduce your burst gauge. So, regardless of whether you're doing standard or expert, it's something to watch for if she's enraging and hits you with it, because your burst gauge is going to go down. So, if you're looking to burst spam and all that, try to do it outside of a raging charge, or make sure to use it before she gets it off. In this case, this is where Mordred's ability to sip and increase a charge turn really helps, because a lot of these have 2-turn wait, so it'll give you an extra one. But the biggest thing is what I'm looking at for the Gluttony demon, because the demon battle is going to be really tricky by the looks of it. From what I'm getting, she can hit, like in just the expert fight, she can hit anybody, like hit up to 3 or 4 times from what I'm looking, and then she heals herself for the normal charge. Yeah, that's interesting. And from what I'm seeing from the further down the page, she can heal a lot. So when you start getting really high level expert fights, yeah, that's the one that can do it. Especially considering the simple fact that the deal with her with these demons, the more you kill them, the stronger they get. So yeah. And then on top of that too, the overall attack, it gives a defensive debuff. It gives her a buff, and I think it gives you a debuff. I'm not sure about this this data right here. You'll have to definitely go into the fight yourself and find out, but the defensive buff definitely looks like it sticks. But again, expert fights are kind of easy to deal with. If you follow the strategy for using the grails to get your buffs, you really shouldn't have any problem with expert fights until about maybe, I'd say, level 75. If you're around my level of attack power, which is like mid to high tier, if I'm comparing myself correctly to other players, because I'm a player that's been around since the game started on Nutaku, so yeah. That said, I have a lot of SSRs and stuff from the events. You can get pretty strong just off of that. But ultimate, she definitely buffs her attack power, so you might want to buff remove her, or you might want to debuff the crap out of it. I'll get to that later. But then she also seems, if I'm looking at it correctly, she can also increase her chances of hitting you multiple times. So she'll really try to destroy your HP pretty quickly. But again, I will get to that later, because I've found a few tactics that can really, really just neuter the attack power of enemies. But yeah, they break that down here. They suggest characters that will sip and boost your burst gauge against a Lilith fight. And I don't know why they're suggesting Titania, but okay. I don't have Titania, so. But there's currently a win gacha that can increase your chance of getting a win SSR. Honestly, I'm not too worried about it because you got SSR guaranteed. That's been refilled. And I'll eventually do a video for that one too. But definitely this demon battle, she can heal a lot. You gotta watch that on expert. And then on top of that, ultimate, she can give you a ton of trouble if you let her buff stick on, or you just don't debuff her a lot. But from what I'm looking, she debuffs you and buffs herself with her raging charge. So yeah. But that's the main thing with this. Now here's your targets. If you're going for every single thing that this event has to offer, you have to get 3 million you have to get 3 million participation points. Your union has to rack up 60 million. You got to get 150 expert kills and 400 ultimate kills when it comes to the demon stuff. So yeah, that's what you really have to try and pull. So you really have to go pretty strong here. And then they give you the usual stuff like the gems, the magic jewels, the books, the grails, the holy soul points, which you definitely need to go for this event for in order to get them. They give you the SSR at Dolan, the SSR weapon. I don't know if they give you both of them. From what I can tell, they do give you a lot of good stuff here. But I can't tell if they give you 2 of those. Now, this, from what it looks like, says it gives you earrings. So I'm guessing the reprint will give you accessories, but I don't know. But I've already looked at the list. We don't get accessories, so that's definitely not going to happen. That's why I'm saying stuff like magical rosary, and we don't get those. So yeah, you don't get accessories though, so that's guaranteed. But what you do get for sure, you do get the Pride weapon, you do get the Willem as a summon, and I've done a video about the Willems. The thing I do not like about the Willems is the fact that you have to sip and split up your elements so much in order to get the real use out of her. That said, I honestly see no point in setting her as your lead at Dolan unless you do manage to utilize this setup. So, for instance, I have a really strong fire team. For me to really make use of that fire loam that I think we got a while back, I have to have pretty much my strongest fire nukers, then have 2 separate elements that can really help out. In this case, Soul, who can sip and heal them, because I have no healer for my fire team, really. Except for Brunhilde, and she's not all that great in the healing department. And then somebody like Beelzebub, who can really sip and get them raging and start really nuking. Like, if you're going to use a Willem, you have to have 3 elements on your front line. You can't have them in your subs. You have to have them in your front line. So, and that honestly kind of kills the overall attack power. Unless you have something set up so they can just start really bursting down a crap ton of damage, you're better off just going with a normal team where you just have all 5 of the same element and then they all get a boost. Like I have Ifrit, who gives, I think, currently 55% attack power to everybody as fire, and then gives a burst streak increase. She's probably overall better to me tossing on a Willem. So be very careful when you use these Willems. Like, they're only really good for specific setups. Except for one that we'll get later down the line that's, like, gonna buff everybody up if you mix all the elements. That's where you can really just go ham with a team that will just, like, have a whole bunch of different elements, and that will give you a really unique type of setup for some stuff. But, like I said, Willems are very tricky to use. They're only really good for really experienced players. And even then, don't ever set it as your friend. Please try not to set it as your lead, unless you absolutely have to. And again, that means you have to have a specific setup. Like, I cannot stress that enough. I've been seeing Willems so much, it makes no sense. Because they don't give you anything if you're running a team that doesn't meet the requirements. So, all they give you is a little buff that sort of matches the power of a 40% up, but it's only for a few turns. It's not permanent. But yeah, you get a crap ton of stuff if you can sit up and do this. Apparently, if we sit up and I think it might be on reruns, but it'll have union rankings and whatnot. But anyways, let's go break down a few things. Like, I've already covered the Willem. The weapon itself for this is a gun weapon, so that can help out for all these. Now, I'm guessing you can sit up and awaken these later on. looking at this data. So eventually when we get weapon awakenings, because apparently Kamihime ain't going to be the only ones, but weapon awakenings is going to add some extra nice stuff. But anyways, the main thing we're getting for this is a pride weapon increase. And that is also kind of tricky, because it's more focused towards the suicide builds. What I mean by that is, the lower your HP, the more your attack power. Again, I can really get a good use out of this with my fire team, because they don't really have a healer, so their HP is going to drop rather quickly. So the fire pride weapon will really spike their damage, which is already high as is. And then I can break out Agni, who has a self buff where the lower her HP, the higher the buff will sip and increase her attack. That's where the pride weapons really shine. They give you an attack boost right out the gate, especially if you really start getting its weapon skill level up. But the main thing is that you want to try and get as low HP as possible while you're fighting in order to get the best out of these pride weapons. It's a risky strategy, and that's why I call it a suicide build. But anyways, that's all you get for that one. Now, there's one more thing, and I'm not even going to switch over to the characters. But if you're really trying to go a defensive route, then at least one person in your union, because, well, you might want a few people depending on when you log in. But anyways, this strategy can really neuter the attack power. First off and foremost, if you have two characters that can really sip and lower the damage you take for one turn on an attack, like Gaia and Joan of Arc. Like, I use both of their defensive buffs for the one turn, and this happened in an accessory quest where you can get nuked extremely hard. I used both of them in one turn, and for that one turn, I didn't take any damage whatsoever off of the boss's nuke. And we're talking a boss where even with the attack down, she'll still hit you for like 9,000. So that said, I reduced it to nothing. That's one strategy you can take. But it only works for one turn because of the simple fact that it's going to take a lot of turns for that stuff to come back. So that's one interesting thing. Especially with Awakened Gaia, who gives you something else that helps, and I'll get to that in a second. But here's another strategy to really reduce the damage you take. You know how you get different frames for attacks and all of that. So, honestly, if I really try to go and look up all the SR and even a 1R girl who I keep talking about, but I can name them off the top of my list. Like, the ones that give you decent frame debuffs, you automatically get one from the storyline, Cybele. But you're better off reserving, like, her debuffs, you're better off reserving that. And it also counts for Iblis, too. But you're better off reserving that for your soul. I'll get to that in a second. But Oberon, she's got some good frame debuffs. And one of them is definitely attack, another's defense. So you can also get 2 frames of defense downs if you do this right. But Oberon, Zephyrus, who's a rare soul that you can pull from the gem gacha. Everybody should have Zephyrus at some point. Caspiel, another rare Kamihime, and she's from the normal gacha, so you don't get her from the gem one, unfortunately. But Caspiel is a good one because she's got a stackable one, so if you can quickly get your turns off and keep stacking it, her alone removes an enemy's attack power by 45%. But Caspiel's got her own frame of it. You can get a frame from it from Oberon. You can get a frame from it from Zephyrus. And this is where the other ones come in too. My suggestion to you is to get John, get her, and then stick her with Sniper Shot, which you get from, I think it was Artanian, and that will really reduce the attack power right there off of those two as well. So another nice little addition is possibly get Mordred and give her John's ability as well. It's to a lesser effect, but you get other debuffs with it too. But if you get the most powerful ones from each current character, I do believe, you can reduce the enemy's attack power with the attack down debuffs by 95%. You will barely take any damage while all those are active. which also lets Mordred shine a little bit more because she can also up the rate of sticking debuffs. That's why I'm kind of trying to run Mordred with this strategy. But the other thing with John is the fact that John gives you a buff where you can recover your HP over time and increase your double chance. So either one can help. Either one. You're just going a little bit riskier without Mordred because you can't stick them as often. But there's also Gaia. I've awakened Gaia and I freaking love her, and there's very good reason to it. Gaia gets an ability where she can heal everybody, but that's not the case for this really defensive strategy, even though it can help you survive a bit more. She can focus damage to herself. And I think it also gives it, like, it currently gives just a defense buff to her, but I'm almost at the point where I can get her to level 80 while awakened. So, if I get a few more books, I can push it even further. I think that will up her ability where it's a defensive buff to everybody, I do believe, or just flat out negates damage. It's one of those two. I have to look into it further. But the biggest thing, her little defensive ability where she reduces the damage everybody takes by 40%, I don't know if it increases even further when you awaken it, but it definitely gets another perk where it increases your defense against thunder attacks. So, imagine this setup if you got the same characters I do. Awaken Gaia, where she uses that ability. You got Mordred, and she's also got John's attack down. You got Oberon. But at the same time, I think that attack down overwrites Oberon's move too, so I don't know for sure. So, you got them. You got Zephyrus, and you keep stacking a lot of Caspial stuff. You should barely be taking any damage. Probably to the point where, for a long time, you'll probably out-heal just with the regens. So, that's a strategy to really reduce the damage. And I'm suggesting this because the ultimate one is going to be no slouch with the fact that she can increase her attack power. And then also increase the rate she does doubles and triples. Along with nuking you every 2 turns unless you got Mordred. That's why Mordred seems like she'll shine in this one. But that's my strategy for all of this. But anyways, that's all I'm really going to cover for this. Like, this has gone on for quite a bit. And I'm not even going to put no music in the background for this one, unfortunately. So you're just going to hear me talk for a while. That'll also give you better focus, especially in this last part that I really wanted to stress out. Because if you can get the frames and debuffs, there you go. Because that also includes the Eidolons. So if you got there's a few SR ones that give it, but they're not really ones that's worth it. If you got Jorgamonger or Yatagarasu, they'll also give you attack downs from their summon effects. So yeah, definitely have them in your lineup. That's another reason why I'm so glad I got a level 100 Yatagarasu. So yeah. That said, if you really want to go the defensive route and try to lower the damage that everybody takes, try to get somebody with that setup. Or at least try to get people to have different types of Kamihime where they can all start slapping them down on that. Because you can get all 5 frames of attack down. I'm definitely going to play the role of debuffer in my union. But anyways, that's all I have for this, guys. Happy grinding with this event because this can give you a lot of stuff. Like, I'm not even kidding. Just merely attacking the Pride Demon can get you a lot of upgrade material stuff for your weapons and Kamihime. So, well, only Kamihime if you really want to focus on it. But I meant to say Eidolons, but all of them. Anyway, you want to grind this event. Trust me. Even if you're barely doing any damage. And definitely try to help your union out anyways. Because if everybody gets enough participation points, you're going to get at least 2 gacha tickets out of this. So there you go. But that's all I have to say for this. This has been going on for long enough. And one more time. Defensive strategy, get as many frames as attack down as you can, and you should barely take any damage, especially if you have somebody like John or Gaia on your team, or even both. But that's all I have to say for now, guys. Take care.